Well, hello beautiful people, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having an awesome day, and today's video is going about neutral eyeshadow palettes. Now, we just did a video like a week or so ago on my favorite grungy palettes, so we're going to neutrals and colorfuls as well. Today is the neutral day. We're talking about some neutral palettes, and I feel like I'm going to repeat myself a lot in this video, but today we're going to talk about some that I really enjoy, and without any further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, before we get started, these are my own personal opinions. If we disagree on anything, it's just makeup, it's not that serious. And yeah, I don't really have an intro. If you guys want to subscribe if you're not already, I'd appreciate it. How do people have like 6-minute long intros? Like, oh my god, that seems like so much work. Alright, let's just dive right into it. Let's start off with a couple affordable palettes. So firstly, two Colourpop palettes. Flutterby by Colourpop. This is like a cute little butterfly palette. This is what the front cover looks like, and then the inside, it's more of a mauvier, cool tone palette, and it's very neutral. Other than this bright pop of purple right there, it's a very basic neutral palette. I love the cool tones in here. This came out right after the Bye Bye Birdie, which is a very warm and pink palette that I bought, and then immediately wanted this one way more than that. So this one is just absolutely beautiful. I love a cool tone palette. This has like some mauvier, purplish tones to it, like some really cool tone purples that I enjoy. I don't really wear, I feel like I say this all the time, I don't really wear like purple eyeshadow too much. I've actually been using it a lot more lately because I feel like when I first started not wearing purple eyeshadow, it's because a lot of formulas were patchy, and some lately I've been trying are actually pretty good, so like they're easier to work with. My biggest pain about purple eyeshadows is they're a pain to work with, and now they're not as bad. I feel like the formulas have improved, so maybe I'll wear it more, but for me, I love how cool tone this palette is, and it's affordable. And I like the packaging. It's very thin, easy to store, and they line up with my other Colourpop palettes easily. The other Colourpop palettes, I bought this so late because I was like, I don't need it. You do not need another neutral palette, Bridget. Neutrals are the same. They're not, though. And I like this a lot, and it's a great travel palette if I traveled, which I really don't. So this is the Going Coconuts palette. I just wish this was scented like coconuts. I don't care if some people don't like fragrance. Coconut smells awesome, but there's no fragrance. So this is the color scheme on the inside. It's one of those little 9-pan palettes that are $12. There was just sales, so the 9-pan palettes like this were $9, and I believe this one sold out. It's just so cute. Like, for me, I love how easy the shimmers are. I just buff 2 of the mattes over the lid, throw a shimmer on with my finger, call it a day. I don't have to think about this palette. All these colors blend together really nicely. They're easy to work with, and I love the Colourpop formula, especially for the $12 price. And I like these cute little plastic palettes, although they're a little hard to open. I kind of prefer the cardboard just a little bit. I do have a Colourpop code. It's not an affiliate code. I don't make any money, but it is 5 Bridget. If you want to make me look good, I guess. I guess it makes me look good if you use it. I don't know. But it saves you $5 off $25, so that's pretty good. Another affordable eyeshadow palette. The Sahara palette by Alter Ego. In my grungy palettes, I picked my favorite Alter Ego palette, which was Goddess. But if you're just thinking about neutrals, Sahara is like, it's great. I love how heavy, luxurious, fancy these feel. It's a magnetic palette, so it feels heavier, more weighted. Something about this feels way more expensive than I think it's $15. And you can use my code Porcelain. I do make money off that code if you want to use it. But this is the Sahara palette. It's so good, and my favorite thing about this palette is there's like some mustardy tones in here, like this one and this one, and like I love the burgundy mixed with a mustard shade. For me, that has a great eye look, and this palette is very matte heavy. There are only 3 shimmers and one like satiny shade. This one's kind of a satiny, and there's only 3 shimmers, which is so good because it's so easy to work with. There's also this light shade for me to set underneath of my brow bone area, so all the colors in my crease blend really nicely. There's a couple of shades down here that are great for deepening up, and again, the mustardy shades in here and all the heavy mattes, so good. But usually when I use this, I just throw this jewel shade over my crease. Sometimes this one too, and I feel like I like this one. I have to find it on the screen. I feel like I like this one, but this one, I don't know. They're both nice shimmers, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you just prefer one that's very similar to another. This is a great palette. I love it a lot. Now that we did our affordable palettes, before we get into high-end things, let's talk about some new ones in my collection. Well, so one's not a neutral palette, but they came together. So let me talk about what I'm wearing on my eyes now, which is like kind of a light pinky shade kind of color scheme, but it's very neutral when you open it up. So these are 2 new Ofra palettes. Only one is a neutral, but they came together, and I will send them to review, so let me talk about them really quick. So this is the first one. It is called Signature Palette Sweet Dreams. This is what I'm wearing on my eyes. I'm wearing every shade. I went really heavy-handed in this pink though because I thought it looked really cute. And I still think my eyeshadow is pink but neutral. My favorite thing about this palette is Pillow Talk, the highlighter of my life. I have hit major pan on my Pillow Talk like full-size highlighter because I love it and I'll never stop praising it. It is my favorite thing. And Pillow Talk's in this palette and I use it for my inner corner. I use it for my highlight as well, and it's just any opportunity to have another Pillow Talk in my life, I'm here for. And I really feel like Ofra's eyeshadows have always been decent, but these palettes in particular are so much better than I'm used to. I feel like the quality from Ofra in these two palettes in particular is so nice. This is the other one. It's not the neutral one. This one's called Galaxy, but these are the two new palettes, and it's super cute. We have the Neptune highlighter right here in the center. Today I used this shade right here to go underneath of my brow bone, mixed in conjunction with the other palette. And again, it's a great quality. Like, Ofra's formula has really stepped up. I personally prefer the Sweet Dreams one because I like more pinks compared to purples, and Pillow Talk is in here. I love Pillow Talk so much, but these are great. Another newer palette to my collection is the Millie Rose Beauty palette. This is the Modern Nudes. So there's a warm one from this collection and there's a cooler tone one. I got the cooler tone one here to show you today because this is the one I reached for more. So my first impressions of this palette, I've used it twice so far and I love the mattes in here. I feel like the mattes are so nice, and of course they're cool tones, so I'm really here for it. I kind of love it a lot. But the shimmers in here are very subtle. The shimmers are not my favorite at all. They are very subtle. There's only 3 in here, which I like because I like a lot of mattes, and this black is actually pretty decent too. But to me, the mattes are good, the shimmers are very lackluster, there's not too much of base pigment to it, so it's kind of mixed feelings because the mattes are so pigmented, they're so easy to blend out, and they're very smooth. Shimmers just weren't there for me, so I have mixed feelings on this, but considering it's a newer brand, like, the mattes are usually the harder ones to formulate, and since they nailed it, I'm excited to see what they do in the future. I do have another affordable palette that I forgot about because I depotted it. So this is a Magnetic Z palette from Amazon. And if you ignore this, so this is the palette I'm talking about, not these, it's just this. This is the Bare Necessities palette by Colourpop. I love this so much. It's so good. I feel like this is distracting. Should I just hold it like that? No, it's even more distracting. I don't know. These colors for the Bare Necessities palette, there we go, is just so well put together. A lot of the tones are pretty similar. It does kind of feel like some are repeats, but I love it. I love that some are more pink. There's a couple like kind of a creamy-ish, slightly yellow. I like the oranges in here. The browns, so pigmented. The darker browns to use like to blend out the outer corner, make it a little deeper on the outer corner. So nice. The shimmer is great to put on with your finger over the lid. Like, this palette makes me happy. It was too big to stay up in my Alex drawer though, that's why I depotted it. It's in the exact same order that it came in, I kept it in that same order, but now I can set this sitting up in my Alex drawers and it can close, so that's why I depotted it, but it's a great palette. Next, let's quickly talk about a limited edition palette. It's the Gwen Stefani palette by Urban Decay. I love this so much, I use it all the time. I don't want to talk about something you can't get, but I'm almost hitting pan on this shade. I use it, I mean, you can't tell because we're not getting bright lights, but there's a huge dip in this thing. I'm so close to hitting pan on this shade. It's called Skimp. I love it. I use this all the time just to buff underneath my brow bone if I'm using a very colorful palette or something that doesn't have like a creamy shade so I can blend easier. This is just some great colors. Other than these 3 colorful ones, super neutral, and I love Gwen Stefani. So I'll stop talking about it now, but bring it back. Alright, 3 more high-end palettes. What is this? I don't know. I'm losing my mind. This is the palette. I know if you've been on my channel for a while, a lot of you probably in the comment section already guessed this is in this video. It's the Tarlet in Bloom. I love it. I was so late to the game with this palette. This is what the cover looks like, and this is what the inside looks like. Maybe I should have cleaned it up a little bit. Mine's looking a little dusty these days. Maybe I should clean it up. But I use this all the time. It's great. I used it today. Well, in my earlier look. I did a look using the Moroccan Spice palette by Fenty on my Instagram. And I used this to set underneath of my brow bone before I started the eyeshadow, just to make everything blend easier. And I quite enjoy this palette. My favorite things in here are obviously this shimmer, because I've made some hurtings in this shimmer, and I love these 3 shades. I will pick one of these 2 shades to buff before I do like a cool tone color, but honestly, so good. The only shade I never use in here is this one. I'd rather use this one, but I never use this more warm tone brown. So other than that, great palette. Super cute, super compact, super nice. And it goes on sale sometimes because it's very expensive for like what it is until it's on sale. Like the 21 Days of Beauty, that's usually one of the palettes that go on sale from Tarte, and it's a great deal at that price. Like 21 bucks, I would buy it for that. Another palette that's available at Ulta, the Friendcation palette with the most beautiful packaging from Dose of Colors and Katie and Desi. This palette. Now, some people may argue it's not a neutral palette, but if you cover these 2, that's a neutral palette. I've never even used the blues, I don't think. It literally doesn't look like I've touched them. I don't think I've ever used the blues in this palette, but I use this part all the time. To me, this shade is so unique. It is kind of, I think it's supposed to be a topper because there is no base pigment to it. It's pretty see-through. I don't care. I just throw it over my lid. I'll even put it in the crease. I'll just wipe it over my entire eyelid after I buff some mattes in there. I love it a lot, but this is very see-through. And I think the pinks in here are nice. But again, I never use the blues. It's nice. The green's nice. I've used that. And I usually just go into this shade to set underneath my crease. Or set underneath my brow. This one in the crease. And then this one or this one and this one. So one of those 3 to just deepen up the shade and then put this on the lid. Super easy to work with. Okay, the last palette. The Greek Goddess palette by Lunar Beauty. Super, super cute. I am dying. Like, I don't like having a completionist mentality. But I have all the Jeffree Star palettes and I want all the Lunar Beauty palettes. But even when the Strawberry Dream palette goes on sale, you guys, I can't bring myself to buy it because I know I won't use it. But why do I want that so bad? But I know I won't use it. Even when it's on sale, I'm like, you don't need it, Bridget. You don't need it. But I want all the Lunar Beauty palettes. So this is the Greek Goddess. It is the most neutral of his palettes. Other than the one Papa Blue, which is very 2018. This is a very neutral palette. And I feel like the Papa Blue is very... It makes it look like way more of a colorful palette, because honestly with the blue covered up, you can tell it's just a neutral with like a yellow. I love that there's some orange in here, there's some nice soft colors in here. These blend so nicely, the mattes are really easy to work with. I love his matte formula. The shimmers are not my favorite shimmer in the absolute world, but they work really well and they stay on throughout the day, they don't fade. So great palette. I do find though, like, I had this set against the Moonspell palette. This was behind the Moonspell palette, and it ruined the packaging on this. Like, I don't know how. Can we see there's like black spots throughout my palette now, just from having it next to the Moonspell palette, and you can't scrape it off. So I don't know what that's about. It's like a packaging flaw, but I don't know. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Please let me know 2 neutral palettes you love down below. I'd love to hear about it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys, have a great day.